3, 2, 1, show. Molly's is called Laughing at My Own Jokes.
Mine is called Life as an Awkward Person.
That's accurate. That's
okay, good.
Okay, both of those are accurate.
Yay, great.
Molly is the queen of laughing at her own jokes.
Okay. Great.
Welcome to this week's episode of Teaching Keating.
Here we are.
And we are arguing already. Great.
You have something on your Bronco shirt. Come here really quick.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, got it all.
Oh, thank you.
All right, great. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for saying I have some. Not just I have something on my shirt.
Yeah.
I have something on my Bronco shirt.
Hey,
Go
yay, go Bronx. Yay, Bo Nix.
Super excited for this conversation.
Oh, good.
I
can't wait.
We want to talk about funny.
Yes.
Can you teach funny?
I don't know if I have an answer to this. I'm gonna have to really think about it.
That'll do it for this week's
Yeah.
episode.
I don't know. Can we?
Here's-
I mean, what do you think?
Well,
what are your thoughts?
Here's what I'm curious.
Yes.
I feel like this is universal, but it might not be. Like, I love funny people.
You do.
I love funny people.
That's true.
Like I don't throw myself in the category of funny people.
Who?
I'm the funniest in our family for sure, without question. But I wouldn't like.
The kids would not agree.
No,
but
they,
okay.
They wouldn't agree, and they'd be wrong.
They wouldn't.
But I like this is a thing that I value so much.
You do.
Like
to the point where you listen to so many. I feel like all the podcasts you listen to are comedians.
Yes.
I just sent you one the other day because Tom Segura Andrew Huberman had him on, and you love Tom Segura. Like you just.
Like I
you're
wouldn't.
very.
I wouldn't be good friends with a person who's not funny. Like
yeah, that's probably true.
all my friends are funny.
To varying degrees. Some more than others.
Sure, some more than others.
Yeah.
But they all make me laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
So
that's.
where do you think that comes from? Do you think you have like a funny family?
No.
Okay.
No.
Do you think I have a funny family?
You absolutely have a funny family. For different reasons. Like you and your siblings are intentionally funny. Your parents can be funny sometimes because they are sometimes cartoon characters.
Yes, well, and sometimes they both have great senses of humor.
Yeah.
And they both are funny in their own right. But sometimes we laugh at their just person because they just do things that make us laugh, but they're not intentionally trying to be funny. Which I
Yes.
think is most, children, of their parents. Like, I think I hope our kids, look at us sometimes and are like, oh,
my sister Megan
parents
is
are
funny.
really funny. Okay.
My sister Megan is
Yes.
funny.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law Eddie, I think,
Very
is
funny.
super funny.
Yeah.
Eddie's a really funny guy.
Yeah.
We were on the phone the other day,
Yeah.
and I said he was being jolly.
Sure.
And he told me he didn't appreciate it because he thought it was a fat adjective, which made me laugh so hard.
You did laugh hard.
Yeah.
And also that is a funny thing
But
to say.
I love funny people. I just told you.
I think your parents have a good senses of humor, maybe.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You're just saying they're just not naturally.
They're not naturally funny people, but they
Sure.
have a good sense of humor.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they laugh a lot. Like they
Yes.
think a lot of things are funny.
They're not.
Yes.
They're not going to be always the source of laughter.
Sure, they're
but,
not like.
But they'll be
comedic
participants in the
joke
laughter.
Tellers
For
and
sure.
All of the things. Yeah.
For sure.
Sure. I don't think I've ever heard either one of them tell a joke or something like that.
Yeah.
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 This is not their brand.
It's just
okay.
it's
Great.
it's not
Yeah.
their thing. But
Where
I told you.
think my family, I'm not the funniest in my family at all, but I think.
Who's the funniest in your family? Let's say it on the count of 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Mark. Hands down.
He's really funny.
And when Mark's
my
having,
sister's gonna be pissed that we just said that.
I know.
Because she is also very funny.
but when Mark's having a funny
yes,
day,
he's
Lord,
unstoppable.
He's
Yeah,
Yeah.
he'll have everyone rolling. And
What-
I don't know if he tries to be intentional. It's just like the way he sees the world, but then he commentates
yes.
on the way he sees the world, and that in and of itself is very funny. And we all laugh at each other a lot. Like the
could
other night when
literally-
we were all together, we were all laughing. It's
Yes.
a good time.
I could
We like to
literally
laugh.
open up my text thread with your brother.
Yes.
And just read from it for the next 10 minutes, and there's going to be tons of funny stuff.
Yeah.
What I also love
Yeah.
about Mark is that Mark will identify when other people, he'll tell you oh, Wes, you're having a funny day.
Yeah.
But he'll
Yeah.
tell you stone face, just like that.
Or it's really good, when the kids have a good zinger, and he'll be like, "Oh, Shar, good one."
Yeah.
We like to call out each other's funny.
But
Yes.
funny is a thing that I value so much. I
Yeah.
told you yesterday because Amy Poehler has a new podcast,
Yes.
and I told you, I was just like, hey, I have a secret crush on Amy Poehler
There's
and
no
Tina
secret.
Fey. There's
But
no secret,
yes,
because funny is
it's
my
very
kryptonite.
open, yeah.
I love
Who is
funny.
your funniest friend?
Who is my funniest friend? I think it's Graham.
Yeah, probably.
I think Graham's my funniest
Yeah,
friend.
yeah.
We went out one of the times when my dad was in town, my brother-in-law Eddie was in town, and we all went out and played golf together, the four of us. So my dad, my brother-in-law, Graham, and me. Like we were, like by the third hole,
Sure.
Graham is like screaming and running up and down the fairway and chest bumping, like my brother-in-law and my dad, like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, chest, like he just.
He's a funny guy.
He's just
Yeah.
such a little weirdo,
Yeah, yeah.
and he's so funny.
He
Yeah,
does.
I
He
think
just
Graham's.
lives
Who's your
funny.
funniest friend?
Les.
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
if Les is intentionally funny.
She is.
Les is funny. A perfect
She
example
is.
of how she's funny.
Yeah.
She said there was a squirrel in her closet at the house. God, I died when she told me this. She
But
was
this
like,
is a true story.
She was like, there was a squirrel in my closet. I am terrified of squirrels. She goes, Weston, I called the police. And she wasn't
she called
joking.
911.
She's like, I called 911.
And she wasn't joking. I mean, I'm laughing about it now because she's dead serious.
I laughed and I was like,
She is a very funny person,
She's
though.
so
She's
funny.
really funny. But then also how she just moves about the world.
Les is for sure your
is
funniest friend.
very
Also,
comedic.
she has a really funny cadence in how she speaks.
Yeah, she does.
She's
All the
deadly
things.
smart
Yeah.
and speaks in this like sing-songy way.
Yeah.
That makes everything she says funnier.
Yeah, she's.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the time that we got to say, we laugh and laugh and laugh.
What's
and
an
laugh.
indicator? What's an indicator
a good
that
question.
somebody is funny?
I think just like their observations, right? Because like, what is humor? It's observing true things about the world in a like ironic way, and then noticing them, and
Sure.
that like the duplicity of like the fact that like something's one way and it maybe shouldn't be that way, or it's not what you expected or whatever. Like that's what makes something funny.
Yeah.
And so that I think it's just people's observation about the world. And so part of the way I think too, you were like the original question, like, can you teach it? Sometimes I think it's just a natural, like some families are funnier than others because it's a way it's like a posture, right? It's like a way you talk about things. I heard Chris Pratt talk about this and they're like, why, and somebody asked him like, why are you so funny? He was like, I really think it's just like my family.
Yeah.
And like the way that we just like interacted growing up and like the way that we, and so it's the way I think about things when I think he's so funny. I like him. I like funny fat Chris Pratt more than serious.
I know. Make Chris Pratt fat again.
No, I mean I like him skinny, but I like him. I like him in a comedic role more than I like Rob Lowe in a comedic role more too. I think it's more difficult than serious roles. But anyway,
For me,
because you have to work hard. Go
yeah.
ahead.
So observations
ahead.
totally. For
Yeah.
me, it's ludicrous responses to the mundane, and so like
Which is maybe why you think my brother's so funny.
yes, that's one of the
general,
reasons
but
for
that's
sure.
a lot of the reasons
But like
why.
Leslie,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
there's a squirrel in the closet.
Yeah.
The most ludicrous response you could do is to call 911, and she did that. One of the hardest I've seen you after the fact
Yeah.
laugh
Yes.
at me or about me
Okay.
is like if we're standing in a group and I am not interested in the conversation.
Yes.
And I'll just turn and like walk away and
Yeah.
leave the group. That's a ludicrous response to the mundane. Like
Yeah.
I don't think that's particularly
No.
funny. It's just me responding to like,
Yeah,
oh, I'm disinterested
I think
in
I
this.
used to laugh more now.
Now I think you're just embarrassed
later
by
I am
it.
embarrassed by
Yeah.
it mostly. I feel like I gotta like run interference. Like, oh, sorry, he's really bored everyone, so I guess he's gonna
Yeah.
bounce. But that part is hard. So, do you think that people can learn to be funny? I think you can learn to be funnier.
I think
I think you can sharpen your sense of humor.
Yeah, I think you can learn to
Yeah.
be funnier. I
Yeah.
think there's a ceiling for learning to be funny.
Okay,
I think
why?
some people are just born funny.
I think so too.
Matt, we were just talking about
Yes.
this before
Yeah.
you walked in.
Yeah.
Like Tracy Morgan.
Yeah.
We were watching the SNL.
Oh, gosh.
SNL after the 50th,
Yes.
they did a series of like
Yeah.
and what was the quote? What was the thing that he said?
It was, I can teach you to make a joke, but are you funny?
Yeah,
Yes.
Those
it's
are
true.
different things.
Which they are different things.
Yes, they are
I
different
can
things.
teach you to, like you can teach people to make a joke because
Right,
like a
or
joke
write a joke.
A
Yeah,
joke
yeah.
has a structure,
Sure. Yeah.
right? There's a setup,
Yeah.
and then you develop an assumption about where you think it's going, and then there's like a misdirection, and that's bam, punchline. Like
Yeah.
you can teach somebody the setup and the methodology
Sure.
of a joke, but Tracy Morgan, like, are you funny?
Right.
And some people just are, and some people aren't.
Right. Well, and I think too, like that's why you like some comedians and some you don't.
Yeah.
Like there's some comedians who you think are really hilarious and like you like their structure, you like their their comedy or whatever, I'm like, not for me. I just don't like I don't like their brand of comedy. And maybe it's that. Maybe it's like, oh, I don't like your structure. I don't like your content. I don't really think you're funny. But there are certain people in the world that I just think are naturally funny. You know, I think Tina Fey's funny.
Yeah.
I don't love Amy Poehler.
You can, yeah.
But I like.
You're wrong.
Well,
she's so funny.
Amy Poehler is good in an ensemble. I don't naturally gravitate to think she's funny. Like, I just don't. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like female comedians who I really like. I just like. I don't have a ton of comedians that I really like, but there are a bunch of people. I've said this before on the podcast. Like, I think Leslie Mann is amazingly funny.
She's
I think
funny.
So funny.
But
she's not like a comedian.
No.
But she's great. Like, even on Hot Ones, like you saw her, and she's a funny human being.
Yes.
She's
funny exactly
to me.
what Matt was just talking about. Like,
she's just like a naturally funny human
like
being.
she probably doesn't like know or care about joke structure,
No.
but she's just a naturally funny human.
Yes. Which that's really what I gravitate more towards.
I think Jason Bateman is like that too.
Yes, he is.
Like, he's so
Good
dry
call.
funny. Like, he's just like a funny person.
He's not a comedian, but he's a great comedic actor. He's amazing.
I think
I love him.
So like the nerd part of my brain is
Sure.
like, humor is typically three things,
Okay.
right? It's pattern recognition, it's timing, and it's surprise.
Sure.
Right? So like the surprise is like the misdirection.
Yes.
Those things I think are teachable.
Yeah.
I think funny mannerisms, funny cadences, just
Yes.
like funny personas, that
Yes.
stuff's not teachable.
Well, and I think you like Tracy Morgan is a naturally funny person, and he's a great comedian. You know, but like, he had a lot to work with to begin with.
See, I don't think.
Really?
I don't think Tracy Morgan is a great comedian.
Oh, okay.
I think he's an intensely funny person.
Well, maybe he's just a great comedic actor.
Like
he's the only one on 30 Rock that got to keep his name, because they literally just wrote his character based on him. Everybody else was like
because he's a naturally funny person.
Yes.
You know who is a naturally funny person and an incredible comedian who is in the exact sketch you're talking about? Eddie Murphy.
Oh, really?
Eddie Murphy.
Okay.
He is a
Okay.
naturally funny human,
Sure.
but also just like a wordsmith in terms of like joke structure. I think John Mulaney's the same way.
Yeah, you love John Mulaney. I don't. I just don't think he's that funny.
You're crazy.
I mean, I just don't appreciate his comedy. But maybe he's a naturally funny person. Like, I think Pete.
Who do you think is funny?
I think Pete Davidson is I don't.
Oh.
Hold on. I don't appreciate his comedy, but I think he's a funny person.
Yes.
Like, I think
Who's
he's
got
just like a
both?
naturally funny person.
Jerry
Jerry Seinfeld,
Okay.
Jim Gaffigan.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Just both, like, funny people, great comedy.
That's fair.
You know, I think like Tina Fey's never had a comedy special, but I just think she's a great comedian. She's a better writer.
Her book is
Yes.
hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah.
But she's not but that's not how she tracks. But she's both for me.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you? You said Eddie Murphy, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said some good ones.
Okay.
I think Eddie Murphy is great.
Yeah.
Obviously, like
Yeah.
he's like Nate Bargatze. I think
Sure,
is
he's
incredible.
funny. What do you think about
Shane Gillis? I think is really
Yeah,
funny
I
right
like
now.
Shane Gillis.
Yeah.
I like Shane Gillis too. What do you think is like I really like Bill Murray, you know, but he's not.
Bill Murray
like,
is funny.
Yes.
He's not a comedian.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
He just
But he's really
goes about
funny.
the world as a funny
You know why?
person.
Bill Murray is the king of
Uh-huh.
ludicrous responses to the mundane. He's the
Yeah.
king of that.
But he's made a life in comedy.
The whole thing that he
Yes.
does where he like when he's in a restaurant and there's multiple stories of him walking up to a table, grabbing fries off a stranger's
Oh,
plate,
yeah,
eating
'cause he
them,
just
and
does
then
it.
looking at him going, no one's ever going to believe you.
That's funny.
And then he leaves.
Yeah, and he just walks out.
Awesome.
Great. Yeah.
That's
good.
awesome. I think-
but that's just how he goes about life.
Correct.
I appreciate that. I think, well, and I hope that you can like learn to be funny, and because it does lighten, I mean, just in the world, it lightens times in the family. It definitely lightens your classroom.
Yeah.
I do think I was relatively funny in my classroom. I don't know, you're gonna have to ask my students, but I would tell a lot of jokes. I'd point out when they were being funny. I just like the lightness of it. It ingratiates people to you. It's the easiest way to ingratiate, you know, to build rapport in a classroom without like being mean or cruel. Like if you can do it right, it's nuanced and there's a finesse to it.
Well,
So
the research
it has to be
says
really
the
light,
research is
but
actually really
yes.
clear on this.
Yeah.
Like the more likely kids are to laugh in a classroom,
Yeah.
the more likely they are to cope with things like failure
Sure.
and stress.
Yeah.
So they don't they don't need to necessarily be laughing at the teacher or jokes the teacher's
Right.
saying, but if we can all laugh together,
Yes.
like it is a super hyper effective
Yeah.
coping mechanism
And stress
for
release.
stress and failure. And those things are going to be omnipresent in a classroom.
Right.
Stress and failure are going to be things that are present. And if kids and teachers are laughing together,
Sure.
that's a good thing.
Which it doesn't mean like you have to be a jokester all the time in
No.
the classroom. Like I would say I was like the more serious of the, teaching, but I like to be light if I can. Like
Yeah.
I like jokes. I'm more funny than you are naturally as a human being.
Correct.
I was waiting to
You're
see.
mo-
It wasn't a bait, but you love jokes. You're a way better storyteller. You're a way better joke teller. You really work hard at it. You get laughs for a living. Like you really work hard at that. I am just like naturally like, but it's the nature of my family.
You're more naturally funny.
Yes.
I'm a better storyteller.
You get mad.
Hold
like
on.
perfect example.
I need you to admit.
Hold on. You
that-
are. I just
Okay,
said it.
okay.
You're a way better storyteller.
Okay.
Shar just had a great joke when we were on vacation and you didn't big up her. I cackled and I go, good one, Shar. Like I just big upped her and
Yeah.
you got pissed immediately. And you were like, ugh. That was really good. Which is like the nature of our family. Like
get
if
so
the kids
mad.
really get me.
I get so mad when somebody beats me to the funny observation.
And we all have.
It makes me furious.
Which is great, but you do
Because
get
it's envy.
pissed.
I'm
I
so
know.
jealous. I'm so jealous. If somebody beats me to a funny observation, or I have a funny observation,
Yeah.
and then like one of the kids will one up
Yeah.
that. Oh, the
Great.
fury! The fury!
And they're starting to get really good at it. Both of them.
I
Both
know.
of them. Sometimes our son will just like drop in something funny. He's like less likely. Our daughter is really just like
Yeah.
life of the party funny because she has funny observations all the time.
Yeah.
And I laugh a lot, but I laugh less. Like you really work hard at trying to get them to laugh at you and laugh at your jokes. Right, like that's your whole, and I don't care at all. So like, if they throw a dud out there, I'll be like, that was a doozy. I don't give them
You're more
unwarranted.
surgical.
I
You're
don't
more
give them unwarranted laughter.
No, you don't. But
I
you're,
don't.
But you're also
there are
more
no-
surgical with your jokes. Like
Maybe.
you're not going to say
Sure.
something unless you're like 90%
Yes.
sure it's going to be funny.
Yeah, it'll land.
I'm going to
Yeah.
throw out 6 times
Sure,
more
you do.
jokes,
Yeah.
knowing
Fair
that
enough.
like it's going to be dud
Yeah.
hit.
Yeah.
You won't
You
throw
do
out
really,
the duds.
you really do blanket
I cast
the
a
market.
I cast a wide net.
You blanket the market. And our family isn't nice. Well, and because my family's a little bit, they're not meaner, they're funny in general. So like sometimes when you cast a wide net, they like when you throw out something, but then then it'll be doozy, and then you'll get really mad and you'll sit for like the next 20 minutes like trying to come up with like the next doozy. But
The other thing,
but
the other
you
thing,
don't.
the other thing that
But we'll
makes me
just
so
all be
mad
laughing at each other because
is
it's really good.
You know me so
Yes.
well that you'll know that I'll sit there, and if ever there's a
Still
time
working
that
hard.
if ever there's a time
thinking it through,
I'm super
everyone.
quiet, I'll be super quiet, and then all of a sudden, bam, I'll hit a great one, and people will laugh.
Yeah.
And you will look at me and go, "You've thought about that for the last 7 minutes."
Yeah.
Oh,
All
and-
the time.
And you'll
'Cause you
just
have.
you'll just murder the the spontaneity in my joke. It makes me insane.
I know you do. But that's your method. Rather than just like being in the moment and like laughing with us and like let's all just like find the comedy together.
Okay,
That's
so I
not
don't.
your favorite.
I
But
don't
anyway.
think I don't think you
Sure.
can teach people to be funny.
Yeah.
I think you can teach people to be like good storytellers or
Sure.
good joke tellers.
Yeah. There's
which-
just like a base level,
Yeah.
and I do think it comes naturally from some family are funnier than others.
Right.
Like you said your family has good sense of humor, but they're not particularly funny. Like I come from like my family's funny. Like they're funny people. I don't know why. I don't know what they got. They all have a great sense of humor. We all laugh a lot together.
Yeah.
It's one of the better things that we do together. But you were talking about my friend Les, like her family's very funny. Like just like funny people. Like both her siblings are funny, her parents are funny, her mom's British. Like they're just funny. Like they're a funny family.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of it is just like your view on life and how seriously you take things too. Because I've known a lot of people, like we were just talking about this priest that we just saw, and he's really funny. He doesn't naturally try to be funny. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He is great though. He's just like a
Yes.
funny guy because his observations
Totally.
and what he says and the way he sees the world, his homilies are really funny because he thinks about things in a really odd
really
way,
odd
and
way.
he's a quirky guy, but it's great. You
Yeah.
know, like it lands for whatever reason. I would guess his family's really funny, right? Like he's one of 7 children or whatever. Like that's just funny. Like being around like that much change and chaos and all the things all the time, if you take that much, you take things too seriously, you will go crazy. So you have to be funny when you're in like large environments like that. I think, at least is my take on
I
things.
agree.
You know? Yeah, anyway.
Let's play a little he said, she said.
Oh, let's do.
Shall we?
Okay, here we go.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
All right, Matt, you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's
Actually,
get up.
Do it.
I actually have a question for you that
Oh,
I've been.
please.
Do you both share a sense of humor, or do you feel it's very different?
Oh, that is
Something because I feel like what is
genius.
funny is like I can learn someone else's sense of humor to make them laugh more. But like, do you feel like it's different?
So great.
Do you feel like it's growing over time?
I have
to
an
be the
immediate
same?
answer to this. Do you?
Yes.
I feel like we have
So let's answer. Do we share a sense of humor?
same or different.
Sorry.
Do we
Are
have the same sense of humor or a different sense of
So
humor?
we're answering same or different?
Yeah.
Okay. Ready? Go ahead. Write your answer. This is a great question, Matt. Hold on. 3, 2, 1. We both agreed.
Totally
we do
different.
have a really different
We
sense
have
of humor.
very different sense of humor.
Yes.
I like
Yes.
I like clumsiness. When people fall down,
Uh-huh.
it makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Like as long as they're not really hurt.
Yeah.
Like that makes me really happy.
You do. You do laugh like at a lot of like nonsensical, just like physical things in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably have a dirtier sense of humor than you
Yes.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't always like crass. You laugh at a lot of crass, like, that's so funny. I'm like, it's not. It's just kind of rude.
I mean, you could open up.
appalling.
Every guy
Yeah.
has like. I feel like almost every guy has this thread, like
Yes.
with their old like high school or college buddies, that if somebody like if their spouse opened it, they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, you guys are
Super
animals."
inappropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be like, you guys are animals. It's
Yeah.
really inappropriate.
Yeah.
I don't have that thread with my friends.
No, I'm sure
I
you don't.
I mean, I have friends that are like raunchier
Like what do you
and stuff.
like? What do you think is funny?
I laugh at a lot. I mean, just observations about the world. But like, I laugh at a lot of like, I think words are funny. The way people articulate things, the way, like the way things people say, certain phrases or that sort of thing. Like, I laugh at things that are unexpected. But mine is more vocabulary and like I don't laugh at a lot of like physical things in the world.
Yeah.
Like my mom is always one, like if we fell down as kids, she'd laugh first before checking if we're
Yeah.
okay. That's very much you. That's not me.
You laugh at words strung together in a really clever way.
I do. So
Yeah.
like that's more my but that's not surprising to anyone. Like I'm a words girl in general.
Yeah.
So I laugh at funny words and funny wording.
All right.
We were talking about this other day when we were gone, because when we were in Italy, I think we've talked about this in the past, like the hardest thing to do in learning a different language is being funny in a different language. If you can master how to find comedy and it's not your first language, that is a mastery of
That's
the language,
double
because
black diamond.
it's such a difficult, nuanced thing. So yeah, we have definitely different senses of humor, but
Way
we
different.
both find commonality in a lot of things that are same funny. We
For
both
sure.
like to laugh.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of humor.
That's
around
our
that,
that's
so
our
good.
common ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
okay.
Matt, let's get it.
That was a good one.
As a reminder, Molly and I have not seen these questions. We are hearing them for the first time.
No, they're aware. They know.
Here we go.
All right. What's your spouse's secret comedy weapon?
What's your spouse's secret comedy weapon? Your spouse's secret comedy
Okay.
weapon. 3, 2, 1,
Go.
show.
Oh, that's nice. I think your timing's really good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. You work hard at it.
I do.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
I don't think that's something that people would know about you, of like, especially if they've seen you, like, give a PD or whatever it is. Like, you work really hard at your timing. You know where your jokes are in your
For sure.
in your keynotes, and you work really hard at like the time in which they land and when you give them and all. I mean, that is, there's a craft to it, and you really take that part seriously. So your timing is, you work really hard at that.
My first joke in my keynote that I
Yes.
usually do is a timing joke.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's,
Which is great.
It's timing and misdirections.
Yes.
I said your laugh. Your
Okay,
laugh
thanks.
is 100% your comedy superpower.
More than my humor?
Here you're such a good laugher. You have a really
Okay,
good laugh.
good. Thank you.
You're also a
Yes.
really generous laugher.
Okay. If you're funny. If you're not, I don't give it to you. And then people get really
that's
mad.
correct. But if
you don't like that. If I don't give you a laugh, sometimes
when you don't
get really
give me
mad
when you don't give me a
working hard.
courtesy laugh, it makes me mad. But only because I like your laugh so much.
Thanks.
So I work really
Yeah.
hard for it.
Thanks.
But your laugh, like,
Yeah.
I think anyone who has a good laugh
Yeah.
already has like a leg up on the competition, right?
Yeah.
Like, go back to Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, he does.
Like,
He's a really unique laugh.
he had a really unique that,
I can't even do it.
that he doesn't do anymore.
Yeah, oh,
but
bummer.
like a
Yeah.
really unique laugh,
It was.
a really good laugh,
Yeah.
I think is a comedy superpower.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right. If your spouse had a stand-up special, what would the title be?
Oh,
If your spouse had a stand-up special, what would the title be?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this one's so easy for me.
oh, it is.
Yeah.
Mine was pretty easy, but I didn't.
If your
Okay.
spouse had a comedy special, what would the title be? 3, 2, 1, show. Molly's is called Laughing at My Own Jokes.
Mine is called "Life is an Awkward Person."
That's accurate.
one.
That's
Okay, good.
Okay, both of those are
Okay,
accurate.
yay, great.
Molly is the queen of laughing at her own jokes.
Okay, but this loops back to when you know, like, I don't throw something out unless I'm sure it's a doozy and it's really going to land well.
you will
But-
start laughing before the joke comes out.
I can't get it out faster than I'm thinking of it, and I will do that. And then you get mad because you're like, you're already laughing. I was like, it's really good. Let me get it
Not
out.
only will Molly laugh at her own jokes, you can guarantee if she throws out a great one, she will revisit
I
it 3 to 6 times
revisit.
in the next 24 to
3
36 hours.
Times. I'll give you like a 2 to 4.
You'll-
3 to 6 is a
The
little.
like you won't tell it
that's a
again,
little
but you'll be like,
liberal.
remember when I said, and then it's like, oh my gosh, like
Because if it's funny, I really want to get the juice out of it as much as I can.
Yeah.
You revisit your jokes all the time too, just in front of different audiences. I just do it in front of the same audience all the time. But
yeah,
it's okay.
And
Yeah.
then you'll remind us, like, remember when I said that thing that was super funny?
You guys are my best audience.
And then Everett and I
And
will
you're
always look at each
hardcore.
other and be like, oh,
Here she
there
is
she
again.
goes again. Like,
thinking mom's funny, but I do, and then you'll laugh.
Yeah.
So it works.
also,
Great.
life
Okay.
as an awkward person is really good, because every
I was gonna say life is an awkward big person, but I was like, not really. But you just kind of move about the world being
every
like,
funny story I
but yeah,
tell
is
is
you
that
being awkward.
It's
I know.
life as an awkward
Yeah.
person and me
Yeah.
finding myself in
Yeah.
an awkward
Yep.
situation.
and then you being a weirdo.
My most recent funny story is life as an awkward person.
Yes.
It's the one.
Yes.
It's the one in the gas station. I was in. I told you this, right?
I don't know if I've heard this.
I
or
was.
not.
I was
okay,
in.
but
I
let's
w-
be funny.
I was in the gas station. I was
Okay.
getting like Gatorades and sunflower seeds for the boys before baseball.
Okay.
And I'm holding
I think I have heard this.
I'm holding all these Gatorades
Yes.
and all these sunflower seeds, and as I'm walking to the counter to check out, like one of the Gatorades like falls onto the ground, and I bend over to pick it up, and the other two fall
Yeah.
out, and so I'm just like, oh. And the guy behind the counter goes, "Hey, you okay over there?" And I said, "Yeah, man, I just need more hands." And I picked him up and I walked to the counter, and the guy at the counter had one arm, and I go,
I've seen
"Oh
it.
my god, oh my god." And he and I literally
Not the
stood
first time.
I stood there and I froze so much that the guy behind the counter had to look at me and go, "It's okay."
Let me make this okay for you.
But that's-
you're not the first person.
that's-
that's been to say
That's my whole life.
you do. I have
Telling
heard this story.
the one-armed
Yeah,
cashier,
good.
I need more hands. Oh my god.
It's true. That was a really,
Oh my God.
really a thing that happened though. That's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, Matt, we're just over here.
Yeah.
So
That's my life as
speaking
an
of
awkward
speaking
person.
of reusing jokes,
Please.
what's your spouse's most overused joke or bit?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
That's a really good one. Okay. Yeah. Overused joke or bit.
Spouse's most overused
Yeah.
joke or bit.
Okay. Hold on. It's gotta be.
Oh. Molly is writing a novel.
I know. It's true. And I'm gonna have to read it because no one's gonna be able to read my cursive.
Spouse's most overused joke or bit.
Yeah.
Are you creating a list?
No. Just one.
All right.
But
3,
it's long.
2, 1.
Here you go.
Show.
Oh yeah, that I did use that a lot.
Winnie's Pooh.
It crashed in my classroom. I used it over and over and over
You
again.
use that all
We
the
used it for
time.
forever. It
What's-
works with my nephews.
What's brown and smells like honey?
you told
Winnie's
it.
Pooh.
Yeah.
Like that was.
Yeah. Little kids laugh
You
all
ran that
the
joke
time.
over and over
Because it's
and
clean,
over.
but it's funny, but it's not, like, it's good.
It wasn't.
It works in a classroom
It
all
was,
day, every day.
It was
Everyone,
just that you
feel
thought
free to use it.
you thought it was so good that
It's
you ran
funny.
it over and over
Yeah, I
and
did.
over. That was.
I told the kids
yeah.
all the time. I told my class all
Yeah.
the time. Yeah.
What's mine?
Yours is telling stories to the family like you're in a keynote. So, like, when you're really excited, you always do it. We'll be at the dinner table.
I do?
Oh, my gosh, honey. Do you not know that you do this? Are you serious?
No.
You're serious that you don't know that you do this?
I know that I tell stories. Not like,
Tell, like, sometimes you'll drop in. It's like weird, like if you get excited about a story or you're in, like, you've just come off the road, sometimes it's hard for you to sort of like realize you're in dad mode or we're at the dinner table with the family or whatever. Like, oh, this isn't storytelling time. You did it last week when we were on vacation. You were really
did?
excited. Oh my gosh, you do it all the time.
like the example, like the
You do it all the time.
the one-armed cashier. Is that a moment?
Yes, you just did it. So, like, you'll be like, hold on. And then you jump into story mode like you're in a keynote, and you do it with the family all the time.
That's
and
annoying? Oh, no.
You do it a lot. Where the kids and I will kind of all look at each other and go, oh, here he goes.
Oh, no.
He's locking in. But it's because you don't just tell the story like you're sitting at the table with the family. You tell the story like you're in the keynote because you've done it so many times. So you, like, really ramp up, and then you get a build, and sometimes we're just like, hey, can you just get to the punchline? Just tell us what happened, Dad, versus, like, building it like it's in a story. And we all love you and humor you. Char's the best at it. She'll be like, it's okay, Dad. Evan and I are both like, oh my gosh, he's still telling the story. Have we even gotten to the point yet? We don't know. So, like, that part is a little, you drop in a lot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
But no,
here's
you
a
just
good
got to
learning moment for me.
transition. You just got to transition when you're off the road.
Okay.
Like, hey, man, we're just eating hamburgers at the table.
I mean, at least I don't stand up.
We don't need the full. We don't need the full periphery of the note. But that's
Okay.
how much you love the story. It's okay. You really get in there.
Okay. Note to self.
Okay. Just less of the.
It's so funny. Like, this is
the
a thing
less
I've told Everett. Like,
experience.
hey, man,
Yeah.
know the difference between a story and an anecdote.
Oh yeah.
All right. I need to start
Know
giving
yourself.
you. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, Matt.
Okay.
I've got
Great.
2 left.
Great.
Yeah.
If your spouse had to teach a class on how to be funny,
Oh.
what's their first rule? Or this could be maybe telling jokes based on what we've discussed.
Yeah.
If your spouse had to teach a class
This is a good one.
on being funny,
Yeah.
what's their first rule?
Yeah.
Okay. I've got Molly's. All right. Molly's first rule, if she is teaching a class
Yeah.
on being funny, is this.
Okay.
Don't steal my jokes. Nothing pisses my wife off more than when I use a joke
Okay.
that's hers.
Why does that piss me off? Do I use your jokes?
You should.
When have I ever used your jokes ever in our life ever?
You're welcome to
The
start.
answer is never, everyone.
You get so
never.
pissed when I
Because
steal your
that
jokes.
is original material that you pawn off
But you
as
want-
your own.
You want me to, like, credit you.
Yes. Yes. Yes, you need to cite your sources, and you do it all the time. You are the king of bootlegging jokes, mine and other people's. If it is funny and you think it's funny, you'll use that thing over and over again, whether it's yours or not. I think that's rude. I
Okay.
don't appreciate it.
So
It does
I was right.
piss me
I was
off.
right. That's Molly's
Yeah.
first rule.
Weston is know what's funny about you. The first
Yeah.
thing you should teach is, like, if you can't recognize what's funny about yourself and self-deprecating or being aware of the things that are awkward in you or what other people might laugh about or what's funny about you, then it's going to be hard for you to recognize that in others.
That's a really
Yeah.
good one.
Okay, thanks.
That's a really good one.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, because if you
feel free to use it in your class.
if you don't know
on
what's funny about you
Yeah.
and you can't be self-deprecating,
Yeah.
then chances are you're just going to be pointing out what's funny in
Yes.
other people.
Yes.
And you know what that makes you?
cruel.
A dick.
Yeah, cruel.
Yeah. You're just like
which is actually the thing.
cruel humor
Yes.
that's directed always outward is
Yeah.
the worst.
Yes, and it's a very. This is funny because we're talking about this right now it's so present in our lives because we're really working hard with both of our children who are in their teen years, who both have like natural, senses of humor, and they're very funny, but they're learning how to navigate that. And I was like, if you're in a group of people and you're only pointing out what's funny and or mean about them, but you're not directing it at yourself, then you don't really get it. It's sort of like, it's just a low bar.
Totally.
And we're trying to elevate their understanding of like how humor actually works and how to recognize nuance and all of those things. But like one of our children takes themselves more serious than the other. And so because that is the case, one of them has a more difficult time recognizing the boundaries of like what is funny and where one of them, it's a little bit more natural.
I just think there's nothing worse than a person who laughs at other people and can't laugh at themselves.
It's just
nothing worse.
It's a low bar.
Yeah.
It means you don't have a sense of humor, like you take yourself too seriously, and because you take yourself too seriously, you can't expand outward into getting like higher levels. It's just very limiting.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to work on that with our own kid. But
Okay. All
good
right.
one. All right, last one.
All right. Yeah, last one. What's the moment you've laughed the hardest together?
Oh.
What's the moment you've laughed the hardest together? This is going to be very hard.
We have laughed a lot together. We laugh a lot in our family, which is
Yeah.
great.
We laugh
I do appreciate that. I think
lot together.
We're pretty serious too, so we are passionate in all the ways. Like we argue and we fight a lot too, but we laugh a lot. So that's helpful.
Okay. Okay. I've got one. I don't think it's the moment we've laughed the hardest together.
I do.
But it's the
I think I remember one. That's
Oh,
so
you do?
pivotal. Yeah.
Okay.
Ready?
3, 2, 1,
Go.
show.
Oh, and the Prius, I did laugh hard at that one. Mine was like an oldie but a goodie.
Oh,
Square dancing at the very beginning when we were doing our training for QL before we were married. It was really
when Molly and I first met.
Yeah.
We worked for a company at the end of our training together. They hired like a square dance.
Yes. It's a pressure cooker. Like the training is like a 4-day super intensive training with all these other educators, and like it's super intense. And so they're really masterful at their training, and so they do sort of like break the tension. There was like a sort of a fun activity at the end of all of the training. So one year, and we're in Northern California, so the whole thing was funny to begin with, like from start to finish, because the fact of the matter is like these are all these like teachers from all over the country, but we're in California, so like it's not really known for like
Not a real square dance mecca.
Dance mecca.
Yeah.
So like the fact
and
that
we were in Palo Alto.
Yes. So like the fact that they even found this guy was kind of astounding.
Yes.
But he was an older gentleman, was like a square dance aficionado. He was very serious.
He was locked in. Element left.
I know, so that was funny.
It was exactly what you would think.
It was exactly what you think. And because of the nature, the whole experience was funny because the nature of the group of people, like they play. Like it's nice to play in adulthood, and this was a group of people who like were about whatever the thing was about. So they were all bought in from moment that we started, and everyone went all out 100%. None of us have ever done it before, but the group of people was the nature that they just went for it. And it's just like it was an amalgamation of all these different things coming together. And when you have a large group of adults who really go for something that's really fun that they had not ever done before, it was very magical. And so we laughed. We
for
all
hours.
got it wrong
Hours.
probably like a good 3 hours.
Yeah.
Because we kept going. We couldn't do it, but we were all having so much fun.
We were all dog shit at square dancing.
Which was funny.
And you've got this old guy up there who's used to calling square dancing for people who like are cowboys and know how to do it. Meanwhile, he's in Palo Alto calling square dancing for all of these like people in their 20s.
Yes.
We're all doing it wrong. We're bumping into each other. Like
it was amazing.
But we're having so much fun. And here's this
so
old
much
guy
fun.
looking at us. We're such a cluster.
You have to switch partners. You have to do this. And so we laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. All of us.
Yeah.
Like as a group, it was very formative.
Okay.
I don't know.
You're
That just
right.
like it was a peak moment of laughter.
That
in
was
my life.
hardest laugh for the longest amount of time.
Yeah. It was great.
I just wrote Prius.
Yes.
Because it's a thing.
You should tell this
It's
story,
a thing that
actually.
happened most recently, Molly. I was on the road.
Sorry.
I was on the road. I was in the back of a Prius. I was in the back of an Uber. And
The Uber was a Prius.
The Uber was a Prius.
Thank you. Yeah,
and
that's what he meant to say.
I was in a car accident in the back of a Prius. And it was very
That's just
traumatic.
like a funny thing
It was
to say.
It was very traumatic. This guy turns.
Was it traumatic? dramatic.
This guy turns into
Okay.
the hotel parking lot. As he turns in, I take off my seatbelt. He doesn't see a barrier there, and wham! He smacks into the barrier. He slams on the brakes, and I go flying into the front of this Prius, and I just like bang my face and my shoulder in this Prius. And Molly thinks I am at my funniest. Number one, when I'm being clumsy. And number two, when I'm being overly dramatic about a thing.
Thank you. It's that.
So I called home
Thank you.
and I told my wife, I said, hey, I need you to know.
Don't worry.
Don't worry, I'm okay.
Everything's okay.
I was in a car accident. And she goes, what happened? And I said, I was in the back of a Prius and she lost her shit.
kind of like I'm doing right now. Like I couldn't get through it. I was like, wait. So hold on. I just kept
hold
being
on,
like,
hold on.
Hold the phone.
I got.
Tell me more.
Her first response to I was in an accident in the back of a Prius is to laugh.
No, that's not fair.
That's 100%
okay,
truth.
I did start laughing, but
Which
hold
only made me
on.
angry.
I know.
Which then you thought was more funny, and then your laugh is my kryptonite, and so I was getting more mad, which only made you more happy.
I wasn't.
And then you started to laugh, and then I started to laugh.
You were so mad, so that I was trying not to laugh. But then I kept asking questions, which it got progressively funnier. So I was like, well, are you okay? And you said yes. And I said, is the car okay? And you said yes. And I said, I mean, is it drivable? Can is it totally totaled, or like how is it? You're like, no, it's totally drivable. I was like, are there dents? Like can he? And you were like, no, the Uber driver just like took off.
I was
I'm
like,
out
no,
of here.
he just left.
So then I really started laughing because I was like, it's a Prius. It's not like it's, you're not in an F-150.
The other example I thought about is exactly the same. It's when we were in New York as a family, and we were walking. We were walking, and it was like, oh, if we cut through Central Park, like this is going to be way faster. And Molly goes, do you know where you're going? And I said, yes. I never know where I'm going, Matt.
That's a trap in general because even ask the question, I'm trying to get him to be like, you never know where you're going.
It was a super hot day in New York. Our kids were starving, and I was like, hey, let's cut across Central Park. And we cut across Central Park, and Molly must have asked me 3 times, do you know where we're going? And I was getting so annoyed. I was like, yes, yes. And an hour later, we popped out of the other side of Central Park, and my kids and my wife stopped behind me. And when we popped out of Central Park, I looked up, and I was like, wait, did we? And Everett goes, Dad, this is where we went in. I had walked us in a complete circle, and we exited from the entrance where we came in, and all I heard was Molly behind me giggling exactly like this, which made me so mad. And I was like, why didn't you tell me? And Charlotte's like, Dad, she said 3 times.
They were little too.
Yeah.
They were pretty little. They were probably like 8 and 6. And
nothing makes you happier than
it's just you in the world. You going about the world as an awkward person really makes me laugh hard. I'm sorry. I'm not like laughing at you. I am laughing with you. But some of the things that you just do in life, it's hard for me to think that you're a real person, but you do. It's like, it's how you operate. And that's one of them. And we followed you around for like an hour in Central Park.
A full hour.
Okay.
And I walked us in a total circle, and all 3 of you knew I was walking in a circle.
It's okay. Sometimes we just need to let you go. Okay. we need to not talk about this anymore. That's really good. Okay. Teach your kids to be funny, everybody. Don't take yourself too seriously. Life's too short to not have a lot of laughs in it. Good one.
Yeah, that'll do it for this week's episode of Teaching Keating. As always, you can find us anywhere podcasts are listened to. Yeah. You can find me lost somewhere, probably. And
in an airport, maybe. Thank God for like phone.
The airport's the only place I don't get lost.
Yes, it's not.
Everywhere else I get lost.
I mean, I think when we first were married, like the thing that stressed me out the most, everyone's like, "Are you worried about your husband on the road?" And I was like, "Only that he knows where he's going." Like people would ask me all the time, like, "Are you nervous? Like, are you nervous? Like he's traveling so much and he's gone and all the things. Like, do you ever worry?" And I was like, "Yeah, just that he doesn't get to his destination because he has no idea where the hell he is on the planet. Like, I worry about that all the time because it's very serious."
There was a time when I was in Denmark.
Yeah.
And I flew into Copenhagen, and I was supposed to take a train from Copenhagen to Rungsted. That's a 15-minute train ride. I took a train from Copenhagen to Ringsted. That's a 3-hour train ride.
hard.
I trained
foreign
all the way
country.
across the country
Yeah.
in Copenhagen, and then had to train all the way across the country back.
Yeah.
Guess what? Told my wife that story. She loved it. She loved it.
Funny.
Me.
That's you in the world.
That's me in the
That's
world.
a normal behavior from you, so it makes me laugh.
Yeah, Molly,
Sorry.
where can we find you?
Oh, you can find me running the kids. Actually, you know what? I'm going to be at the DMV really soon.
Yeah.
Because our son's, I mean, I know we keep talking about it, but like he's about to get his license. So
It's happening.
we do like a lot of practicing, but then, yeah, I got to make a DMV appointment. So that's where I'll be.
Yeah.
Woo.
All right.
Yeah, be
hey,
great.
like, subscribe. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you on next week's episode. Be well.